Hi, I'm Octavia, and these are my partners, Christine and Kathy, and we're the faces behind Reveal to Heal.
Reveal to Heal is an organization dedicated to enhancing the lives of youth and families. As a team, we believe in helping them overcome their difficulties by teaching them how to heal internally so they will not repeat cycles of abuse.
Reveal to Heal has several types of programs, including support groups for men and women, family therapy, and mentoring for youth aging out of foster care.
Our services are unique because each one of our consultants has experienced them. We'll begin strengthening your mind, eliminating barriers, and helping you reach your full potential through awareness and learning.
Our Aging Out with Hope program is designed for at-risk youth aging out of foster care without a plan.
As a person who aged out of foster care, these programs are necessary.
These young adults with limited support increase their chances of engaging in dysfunctional behavior. With your help, we will be able to obtain and staff a transitional home within the Essex County area. The home will include proper training for staff and ensure all services are implemented efficiently. Our goal is to assist these youth with the services they need and help them integrate into a world with hope and opportunity. Our hearts are open. We are asking you to open your hearts and assist with the possibilities of what we can do to help our children.
I'm so proud to be a part of this program as a mentee. It's made a huge impact in my life.
I'm so proud of being a part of this program as a mentor.
We're ready to make a difference. Are you? Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I am Octavia, CEO, founder of Reveal to Heal Consulting Services. And with me, we also have Chris. Christine, you can introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christine Brown, and I am the managing partner as well as a therapist with Reveal to Heal Consulting as well. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. And as you know, or you may not know, that we provide mental health services for individuals and families. We also we provide an array of services. We have a food pantry. We have the Take Back magazine, which is community-based, community-supported, community organized too. So if you have a story, if you have something to say, you have a business, please contact us so you can be a part of that Take Back magazine as well. As you know, this is October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Christine and I, we always provide information to the community and for the community. And domestic violence is super dear to our heart. We specialize in trauma. And when we think about the things that we have been through, we want to be able to be transparent and share our information and share our experiences and how we were able to heal and overcome from our own experiences. I must say tonight that we have special guests that will be joining us. I'm super excited for you to meet them, for you to hear their stories, for you to ask questions to them, and most importantly, get an understanding of what abuse looks like and what abuse is. Chris, do you have anything you want to add before we proceed?
And also to just be aware that abuse, it crosses it's racial lines, gender, ethnicity, a sexual orientation. It doesn't matter. It's just like a common cold. Anyone can catch it. Anyone can get it. No one is above it. No one is below it. So to also discuss those, how the symptoms, what they look like. Anyone can, and it can affect anyone and everyone.
Absolutely. And everyone, and let's just specify, not only women, right?
Not only just women. No.
Absolutely. And so as we kind of go through just reading about what domestic violence is, I just want to bring our guests up on the platform so they can be a part of this, so you can see the faces behind the mask, right? So let's bring up Wendy Williams, and let's bring up Jay Allen. Yes, so we can see all of you. Thank you so much again for being a part of our platform, ladies. And before I actually go into what domestic violence is, um I'll give you ladies the opportunity to just to kind of share a little bit about who you are. And so and I'll then go into the presentation, we get into your stories, and then we'll move forward from there. So Wendy, would you like to go first?
Sure. I am absolutely pleasured to be invited by Miss Octavia. We just met tonight. We met
Mhm.
on the phone, and what a pleasure to be a part of a program that makes a difference in the lives of young people. I am Wendy Williams Beckett, and I like to say that I'm the original Wendy Williams, and I married Mr. Beckett. So therefore, I am Wendy Beckett. I am a happy wife with 6 children. My husband gave me 3, I gave him 2, and together we made 1. So we have 6,
Nice.
5 grown up adults, males, and 1 beautiful young lady who is in the prime of her life as a teenager. I am
Amen.
happy to be back in Jersey in Essex County where I grew up in Montclair, and I am pleased to be able to be a part of a program such as this because I worked, Octavia, we didn't speak about it, but I worked in social services
Mhm.
before I retired, and I've retired, and I'm excited to be a retired entrepreneur of 2 businesses. I'm a Mary Kay beauty consultant, and I also have a business with my husband as a co-owner of an entertainment and media arts company. So I'm just excited about being in business with ladies that are making a difference.
Nice. Nice. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for being here and accepting the invitation and being willing to share your stories, because this is not an easy story to share, as most of you are here. Thank you. Pastor Allen.
Grace and peace, everybody. My name is Jay Allen. I am a domestic violence conqueror, champion. I am an author. I am a recording artist. I am a mentor. I'm a mom. I'm a whole lot of things, but more importantly, I'm thankful tonight. So let me pause and use my manners and tell God thank you. I'm
Yes.
thankful. I'm thankful for another day,
Absolutely.
another opportunity to just say thank you. I'm
Absolutely.
thankful for another opportunity to be talking with these powerful black amazing women about
Yes.
domestic violence. I'm thankful because this is my second time in 1 week. On Monday, I was with Bloomfield College. I host the largest program they have at Bloomfield College regarding
Mm.
domestic violence. It started with me 4 years ago. So I'm thankful tonight. I'm thankful. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for having me. And I appreciate
Congratulations.
y'all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pastor Allen. And let me just say, like, I called on Pastor Allen like 2 days ago. It could have been three max, but she said yes. And I was just like, wow, thank you so much. She was referred by someone, and I went to her page and I looked her up, and she is just amazing. So you guys make sure you go and follow the pages, okay? Go and follow the pages as well. And it's they're under their real names. So go ahead and follow them on social media. Um, so let us just get started with what domestic violence is. And so domestic violence is a pattern of abusive behavior in any relationship that is used by one partner to gain or maintain control over another intimate partner. The following types of abuse are included in the definition of domestic violence. Physical abuse, we know what physical abuse is. That's the hitting, right? The hitting, the punching, right? Um, Sexual abuse, we know what sexual abuse is, being violated in any sexual manner you can think of. Emotional abuse, someone saying emotional and psychological abuse, I will kind of intertwine them together and say it's getting into your head, making you think and feel otherwise. And we also have another term for it we're going to go over, but it's telling you that you're stupid, it's telling you that you're ugly, telling you that you're fat, just abusing you, or shaming you, right? economic and financial abuse, taking your money. Like you could be the one that's working and they're just taking it away from you. Like, you know, you come home and you're giving a check to your partner, right? And that's whether male or female. So let's get that straight, right? But you're giving it to your partner. You're on an allowance with your own funding, right? You don't have access to what is rightfully yours. Stalking. You, let's say you broke up with your partner and now your partner is he or she shows up where you are, coming to your home unannounced, showing up at your job unannounced, you know, texting you, emailing you, annoying you, right? Those things are considered to be stalking. Cyber abuse, over the internet, starting trouble with you over the internet, and again, emotionally abusing you over the internet, calling you out of your name, disrespecting you, things like that over the net. And all of this, when we think about domestic violence, we think power and control. We think about someone having so much control over you, and a lot of times when these things happen, we don't, and I'm just speaking from a female's perspective right now. When these things happen, we have no idea that this is happening because in the beginning, we were so brainwashed and we were so in love that we're now just thinking the things that's being done is so cute. We're thinking the things that are being done, or this, you know, my man or my woman just loves me, and this is why they're acting like that. They just want me around them all the time. This is why they're behaving like that. But we're not picking up on those little cues and those little signs that we'll talk about. Chris, before I move forward, do you want to add anything to that?
Add on to it. I absolutely do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with a lot of people, especially a lot of people, and I'm just going to speak from our community, Black community, we normalize violence. We normalize, you know, these things are normalized for us. So it's just, you know, just like you said, oh, this is how a person shows us that they care, or they've been through so much that they don't know how to speak or to say these things that we will like. Or when the behavior is so extreme, you're right. This is how they must love me if they doing that. They must really care about me because you know they wouldn't get so upset if he wouldn't do this not he, but if they wouldn't do this and they wouldn't do that. You know, so a big thing is just, especially if you come from a background, and it doesn't always just have to be people of color, but if you come from a background where violence is normalized, you know, in any of those areas, you're gonna think that that's okay. That's okay. That's just what you do. Okay, so that's just what I wanted to add. I wanted to add. Excuse me.
Absolutely. And some people may ask, like, so if you're saying it's about power and control, how do we recognize it? Like, what does that actually look like? And Chris, chime in at any point. So it's that ignoring, right? That starting to ignore you, you know, making you feel guilty for doing the right thing, being rejected, when you're isolated, when you're being isolated um, from your loved ones, from your family and friends, again, verbally assaulting you, right? I remember I used to always say, I would rather get beat than for you to even speak to me like that, or for you to say those things to me, because those emotional scars, like, they leave those emotional wounds for years to come, while those physical scars are going to heal. You can look at it and remember how it got there, but it's not is for me anyway, it wasn't as bad as remembering what was said and how that made me feel over and over and over again, the words of what was said. Terrorizing, when someone is being terrorized, someone is being corrupted or exploited, someone is being overexposed. The gaslighting part, I know Chris likes to talk about gaslighting, so I don't, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, the guy said when a person, you know, when they make you think that with their behavior is either the cause of them, or the cause of yourself. You made me do, and you really begin to think that it's you. You really begin to accept, I must have done something. I came home from work. Oh, I'm gonna really try not to, I'm sorry. I just was so tired from work. I had attitude. Oh, I'm sorry if I did this or I did that, or maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe my mother and them don't want me to be happy in a relationship. So I shouldn't even be telling them or coming to see, going around them more, because you're right. They don't want me happy. Maybe that's what it is. You begin to really believe the things that a person says. No, well, he may be right. When I take a shower, I leave it so hot that it steams, not heat, but you know, it becomes so hot that he becomes irritated by the moisture, and I have to stop doing that, because we really begin to believe these things that they put in our head, because for whatever our reasons are. And again, that's a form of control that we may not even know that we're a part of when it's happening. We may not even realize that that's what's going on with us.
Right. Absolutely right. And thank you for sharing that. And so those are just some signs, right? Some signs of abuse, and some ways that you can begin to pick up on, things. And so without further ado, we'll have Wendy begin to share her story um, about domestic violence and how she overcame.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. I heard Christine talking, and you all were saying some of those words that were potentially triggering my story. I said to Octavia, where does the story begin? And so certainly there's so much with these experiences. I am absolutely pleased to say that I'm 29 years free. And as I am free, I am now a conqueror. Before I was a survivor, and I now have reached a state of I'm a conqueror. I'm a survivor, yes, day one. But once you overcome, then I'm a conqueror that has overcome. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Wow. When I said where do I begin? I was at Howard University, and I was living a normal life as a college student. And I had come from a beautiful home where mom and dad had been married for years, and dad treated mom like a queen, and she treated her man like the king. And my grandparents, 62 years, my aunt and uncle, 72 years. So all I knew was marriages were fantastic and love was love. Well, in college, I was in a relationship with my boyfriend, and he was my second boyfriend. The first one I had from high school into college, I had for 7 years. So I was just in a long-term relationship kind of girl. And I felt like being in relationship with this young man, it was exciting because we were both in college. We were both doing what we were supposed to do. We were moving forward with our higher education. We were making things happen. As we were falling in love, it was absolutely a love relationship. He treated me wonderfully. I didn't know anything about abuse, so the signs were there as I look back on the story, but I didn't understand because my experience in my household, we weren't exposed to violence or even understanding families that had domestic violence. So taking the story further, I was in relationship with him in college, and at that point, the signs were there, and I didn't realize he didn't even want to share me with my friends. So I had 2 or 3 girlfriends that we did everything together, and he would always say, "Oh, come hang out with me, and you can see your friends later." So that was the beginning of controlling my time and being able to isolate me from those that he knew that were important to me. And then when it came time for me to want to go home to New Jersey for vacation or for just a weekend to go home to possibly get my hair done. Back in the day, I had hair. I chose to cut it all off. But when I had to come from DC to go to Jersey to get my hair done, that was a big deal. Leaving to go home meant, oh, she's going to a place where her life is pleasurable. Yes, I come from a modest sized family. It's only 4 of us, but my cousins, my first cousins, were like brothers and sisters. So the family was big. And when I would return home, we would laugh and kiki, and it was a bunch of girls and only 3 boys. So we had a lot of fun. And it didn't dawn on me as time was going on that each time I experienced wanting to go home or wanting to hang out with my friends, or even being in a situation where I go to church on Sundays. And when I would attend church on Sundays, his response would be, well, Sundays we could be just you and I. Why would you go to work all week and then go out on Sunday too? Well, Sunday was the day I was going to go worship the Lord. That was my choice. But it didn't dawn on me. That was, again, one of those indicators that I didn't understand because I didn't know. I had not been exposed. Family wasn't talking about domestic violence. And there were family members that experienced things. But I was growing up in the 60s, they just weren't talking about things like that. So being in relationship with him, it was a love relationship. He treated me wonderfully nice. He interacted with his friends and always treated me with respect in front of the friends. And then all of a sudden, things started to change. And it didn't dawn on me as things started to change. We got married. And once we were married, couldn't even think of how long we were married before we had the first baby. But the first baby was where I realized he really was not willing to share me with anybody. And when you have a baby and you nurse your baby, there's a bond between mother and baby that nobody can break, not even dad. And I read the stories in the books, what to expect when you're expecting, so that I could be able to understand what type of love I was supposed to give him, the attention he was supposed to get while still nursing the baby and doing what's required for a newborn. And as I proceeded on, I realized there's trouble in my marriage. My family didn't have success when they were telling me they felt like there was trouble in how he spoke to me. So he spoke to me with a rough undertone. However, his undertone was different. He was from the city. I was from the suburbs of New Jersey. So he was from New York. So I thought, well, he speaks different than I do. And my dad always shared with me it was important to respect people's differences. And so as I respected his differences, I brushed things aside, and I didn't realize I was doing that. And then not until I had my first baby did I realize this is a problem. He didn't want me to have company. He didn't want me to interact with people and do anything. He didn't want anyone to know that they could get close to my heart because he wanted all of it to himself. And so the story continues. Octavia, I'm not sure how much I'm supposed to go, but then at some point I had a second baby. So as I was trying to have an understanding of what to do, I thought of things like you're to prepare to leave. I needed to go. And so I had the one baby, and my thought was, I need to begin to pack my belongings, stash them in a box, and ship them to Jersey box by box, week by week. I didn't know how to do it. I tried to create a plan. I had family. I didn't talk to family, so family didn't know. I had friends that said, you're in trouble. And if you're really in trouble and you need to go, you go. But the challenge was nobody saw the trouble because it wasn't physical. It was mental and emotional. So he was tearing down my inner being. And I was a strong, vibrant, I guess I was type A personality. You say, jump off the bridge. I say, okay, let's do it. Mm-hmm. And I would be just adventurous, and I'd go after it, and I'd do what things I wanted to do. So in college, I was a businesswoman. I carried my briefcase, and I was in charge of organizations and started a brand new organization. So he felt like I was out and about and meeting people and trying to be in the face of men and interact with people, but I was friendly. I was a people person. And he felt like as I would speak to individuals, including like the waiter at the restaurant, that I was flirting. And I'm not a flirt. I'm just a friendly person. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy interacting with people and getting to know people, especially if you're serving my food. Right. I'm thinking I better be nice to you because you're going to be somebody that's going to bring the food. But anything I did, he felt concerned and offended. And he would always accuse me of cheating or doing things that I was not doing because I was taking care of a baby and I was also working a retail job. So I had no time to cheat or to do anything that was less than honorable in a marriage. Mm-hmm. And so as we proceeded forward, I began to realize that the physical abuse wasn't there. There were certain circumstances that came that were questionable. So if he were to throw the lamp and I didn't duck, then I might have got hit by the lamp. So therefore that could have been considered physical. Right. But I felt, no, it's not physical because I didn't get hit. I just endured the emotional torment, and the emotional scars, ladies and gentlemen, they're deep rooted and they last and they end up going generational. And so as I proceeded to leave certain circles of friends and decided that if I wasn't around people, people wouldn't know. And I'd kind of keep my stuff to myself. I was kind of private and was making excuses for things and saying, oh, he's just upset because the baby wants all of mommy's attention. And my girlfriend had a baby. So together we were taking care of the babies and everything was about mommy, baby, doing fun things with girlfriends. And so he was so jealous that it still didn't dawn on me until we would go out in public and he would say things. And then the abuse of substances began to become a problem. And when you have substances on top of an attitude, then you're talking about further creating a monster.
Absolutely.
A monster.
Absolutely.
Wasn't sure what word was going to come out, but at the end of the day, the person you fell in love with began to change and you began to see things that you weren't certain who you were sleeping next to. And as I proceeded to plan to leave, then I made my plan, but I hadn't shipped anything home because a friend said to me, don't do that. He'll know. He knows if you turn a fork upside down, he'll know you did something that he doesn't approve of.
Right.
And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to figure this thing out. And so as I continued to pray, I cried. I did a lot of crying more than I did praying back then. I wasn't as mature in the word as I am today. But I knew that God had me. I just didn't know when to cry out and how to cry out. So when I wanted to have the pain go away, I found I had pain in my stomach from gallbladder and gallstones. And as I was going to get surgery, I found out again I was pregnant. So that prolongs the exit. The exit plan was there. And then next thing I knew, what do? You're having another baby. And how do you leave with, back in the day, you couldn't leave with a pregnancy. You had to stay where you were. I was in Maryland and home was Jersey, but to stay where you were because insurance was going to only care for you with your existing condition. You couldn't go to another state and have different insurance. So to make that story go faster, the bottom line was I ended up staying another 9 months because I had the baby. And after having the baby, thank God, the Lord looks out for us. And I read something earlier about when you're having a baby, something about the cells from the baby affect the mommy. Well, the gallstones didn't cause me any pain until 30 days after the baby was born. And then 30 days after he was born, then I needed to go and have surgery. And so when I scheduled to have surgery, my children went home to New Jersey so I could recuperate. And as they left to go to New Jersey, they returned back home. In 1992 was when I had my baby. I sent the baby to New Jersey. He was only 6 months old, and they stayed for 6 weeks. So he was 7 months old. And when mom and dad returned the babies back to me, that was the night that the Lord spoke to me and told me that it was time for me to make my move.
Wow. Wow. Powerful. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. It's just powerful. I know we have a lot of comments, but we want to get to Pastor J. Allen, and then we'll get into our questions. We're gonna answer all of your questions, guys. Just want to hear from Pastor Allen.
Hey everybody. So I am a PK. I come from a long line of preachers and growing up in the church, right? So there are things that you're supposed to do, right? Don't y'all judge me because I did all the wrong things and I did them on purpose. However, in my home, my mom was a single parent, and in my home was Christianity and Islam. So I learned the Bible and I learned the Quran. I went to church on Sunday and I went to Jumu'ah on Friday. Yeah, I was saved, but still, that's what I did, right? So when I got older, when a Muslim man was interested in me, it really didn't mean anything to me because at home, I grew up with both. So I kind of knew his religion. I kind of knew his background. I was comfortable with what he represented, right? So I started dating him. And I can say now that I painted every red flag, whatever my favorite color was at that time. I can't say that then, but at this time, I painted it was every color that I wanted it to be in that moment, right? Because let me tell y'all something. we want what we want when we want it, and we want it now, right? And I was 29, or I might not have been, I might have been like 28 or something. I had already had 2 children, and I wanted to be married, because y'all know in the church, that's how they teach y'all. Grow up, get married, that's it. I'm going to be honest, and I ain't got nothing against the church. I'm just going to keep paying 5,000 because that's all I know how to do, right? So we get married. In the middle, before that though, we went out on a date. I'm going to help y'all. We went out on a date, right? And when we got there, so can I tell y'all, he was like fine as wine. Like, you walk in the room and everybody looked like he had that. He had that thing going on. So, it really wasn't, I enjoyed being out with him because he was a lot of fun or whatever. So when we went to dinner one day, I went to wash my hands. And when I came back, he had already ordered my food for me. Now, granted, he made all the right choices, but he took away my power to choose. But at that time, I didn't know that like that, right? I called my girlfriend. I'm like, oh my God, he ordered my food. And she was like, that's so dope. But no, she should have been like, nah, sis, that's not what's up. But he did. He ordered my food, and that probably, and I'll be honest right here, like, something went through my mind then, like, this ain't, like, I appreciate it and it was a great gesture, but he should have asked me what I wanted to eat first. I don't know if that makes sense to y'all, but that at that time, I still wanted what I wanted, right? So I don't know about y'all. Y'all probably didn't do this, but when I was interested in someone, I would do nice things for them. I bought him a bracelet, and I think I bought him a bracelet and a chain, I think, or a bracelet and a ring or something, a pinky ring or something. I did, whatever. I had done laid it away. I had done paid it off. I gave it to him, and he asked me how much did I pay for it, and I was like, I'm not telling you how much I paid for it because it was a gift, whatever. He took it back to the store, and he said that I spent too much money for it. And I was so angry. He meant that thing. He meant it, okay? Because at first I thought he was just talking. Like, I didn't really think that he would take it back to the store. He took the ring, whatever I bought, I don't even remember now, but he took it back to the store, and he wanted the money back. They wouldn't give him the money back. And I paid a grip. Like, I paid probably more money than I should have. I paid, and I'm about to tell y'all something that I probably never tell about my story, but I feel the need to be honest and transparent right here. So what I paid for his ring and bracelet, I believe, he returned it and got our wedding bands, my engagement ring, and insurance.
What?
Yeah, that part. So I had this big old diamond engagement ring. Right now, he didn't propose right away, but when he proposed, I had to ask eventually, like, is this what my money paid for? Like, so in essence, I'm gonna just cut to the embarrassment. In essence, I bought my own engagement ring, right? Don't y'all be like me.
Yeah.
Anyway, right? So we get married. And the day we came home, we got married in September. Don't ask me the date because I can't remember, but September 2009, I got married, right, on a Sunday. And I didn't have anybody's blessing because we're Christian, he's Muslim. You know the rules. You unequally yoked. But I did it anyway because I wanted what I wanted when I wanted it, and that was it. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I was praying the promises of God. God, you said that if I ask for anything in your name, that you would do it. God, you said that if I delight myself in you, you will give me the desires of your heart. Let me tell you something. If you force his hand, he will allow his permissive will, not his perfect will. But anyway, that's not what this is about, right? So I got married.
He'll give you what you
and
want.
I came home from the wedding. I'm still in my wedding dress, and he's still in his tux, right? And the neighbor, we lived in the neighborhood where I grew up. The neighbor came out of the house to greet us because I removed him from the hood because he's a hood celebrity, and I didn't want the hood at my wedding. Don't judge me. So we came home. So the neighbor came out to greet him. He hugged him, whatever. And then he hugged me and he kissed me on the cheek. And my husband screamed so loud that the car windows rattled. And he stormed up the stairs and he slammed the door. He locked the door and he went to bed. Now, I did say I was standing outside in my wedding dress, right? All right. So I remember because I stood outside and I said, oh my God, I just made the biggest mistake of my life. You got to fix this. Now, Who I'm calling? Because everybody in the church and they wasn't for this. So now what do you do, right? What do you do? Who do you teach? How do you help somebody? What do you do? I stood outside and I'm just like, oh man, God, you got to forget it. Because sometimes we get stuck in, I asked God for this. He gave it to me. And now I just have to deal with it. I'm going to help y'all tonight. I promise. Because sometimes you have to repent and let
Yeah.
God forgive you, receive
Yes.
God's forgiveness and move on, right?
Yes.
But nevertheless, I was standing outside. So his sister lived on the first floor. When she came home, she let me in the front door. He didn't lock our house door. He locked the very front door. So when I got upstairs, I'm looking for him. He's in the kids' room, in one of the kids' room, sleep in his pajamas like nothing happened. So I cried the first night because what am I? Who am I call? I don't have nobody to call and say that this is going on. But can I tell you, for 5 days, my husband walked past me and didn't speak to me. If I was in his way, he would bump me on the shoulder. For those of you who don't know, that is emotional abuse. Okay.
Yes.
He was in and out of the house, but he was not speaking to me. He was not saying anything to me. If I was cooking food, he was not eating it. He was not washing it. Like, he wasn't doing any of those things. So I finally texted him and I said, listen, this is like dysfunctional. This is not what I thought marriage was going to be. We need some help. And he laughed. He didn't really respond. He laughed. But when he came home, it was almost like he was a completely different person, which made me afraid. Because now something, you're crazy or something, because you ain't gonna acknowledge, you're not gonna act like nothing. Like, it was almost like nothing happened. So fast forward, progressively he got worse. He was physical. We were fighting. Super Bowl Sunday, which would have been maybe 4 months after we got married, he came home and beat me. And I fought back, and I only fought back because my children were present, and I didn't want them to wake up to a bloody scene with their mom dead. So I had to fight. I didn't have a choice. In that, I must have left him quite a few times. Left, came back, left, came back, left, came back, right? And I had a conversation with one of my good friends who lived in Virginia. And I just shared with her, like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not sure how to handle this. I don't know what to do, because I don't want to be a spiritual adulterer for the rest of my life. Y'all know that's what the Bible teaches you. I'm telling you, I'm gonna help you tonight, right? I don't want to be a spiritual adulterer. Like, this is not why I got married. This is not what I thought marriage was gonna be. You said the believing spouse could cover her unbelieving husband, or the believing wife could sanctify, whatever translation you read, and I got you. That's what the word says. And so we don't really, because they teach you for better or for worse, but they don't really teach you what the worst is. And the truth is, nobody can really prepare you for what the worst is, because your level of worst may not be my level of worst. And I promise you, I never in a million years imagined that it would be somebody beating me. Yes, God, that promised to love and cherish and care for me. That's never, ever, ever what I thought. So now, what do I do? Who do I call? What do I say? Because this ain't it. This is not it. This is not. So now I'm walking around defeated and broken and despondent, because in my home, he's beating me publicly. We're this amazing power couple. Go figure. Like, no, somebody help me, because I don't know what to do. So I left quite a few times. I came back, but and I won't deal with that there, because you're gonna ask questions about that, right? So I'll leave that alone. But when I finally decided to leave, he attacked me in a public establishment. Now, I left my pocketbook on the table, because for me, it was a sign that I had been there, right? So he pulled me outside. So when I came outside, he beat me. The cops were sitting on the corner. I'll never forget, right? And people were attempting to come to my rescue, and I was looking at them with my eyes. Don't do it, because I'm not going to be able to live with the guilt of if he does something to you. So I called my girlfriend and I'm like, look, I can't take it anymore. I got to make a dash. And she was like, oh, God's going to fix it. And I was like, I do believe that God can fix anything, but you have to want to change the condition of your heart first. He does not want to change, and God is not going to force him. So while you're waiting for God to fix your thing, I got to go. And when God fixes it for you, I might get a little bit of hope that he's going to do it for me. 3 days later, my girlfriend was dead. Her husband killed himself. So now I'm like, oh, shoot. this is different. Because now that could be me. This is me in my head. Like, that could be me. And everybody was calling me because everybody knew I had just spoke to her or whatever. I went to her funeral. And it was like the slow, long walk for me because I walked to her casket. And when I walked to look at her casket, I saw my own face. I did an about face and I turned around and I went to my car and I never ever looked back. So now I'm outside this establishment. He's beating me. A cop owns the establishment. Y'all hear me? A cop owns the establishment. I go back inside. I sing. So it was karaoke. So the DJ calls me and goes, I want you to sing I Am Changing. I sang it. I am changing. And something happened to me in that moment. I don't know if y'all know that song, but it says, look at me. I'm changing, doing everything I can. I'm changing. And it was kind of prophetic for me because right in that moment while I was singing, things were shedding off of me. People that I didn't know were tweeting me saying, I hope you're okay. I hope he doesn't do it. I'm singing my heart out, crying real tears because my life right now is completely different. I walked out of there. I walked into a precinct. I said, I need to make a report or file charges or whatever, because you don't know when you never did that, you don't know. And this white lady with blonde hair and blue eyes, I'll never forget, she said, did he catch you in the bar with another man? I was like, what?
Ooh.
I was like, ma'am, not that it matters, but no, he didn't. So are you going to take my report or not? Long story short, his sister was a prosecutor, so the report never was taken. At that time, I had Section 8, and although they were only paying $50 of my rent and I was paying $1,000, it still was something, right?
Right.
But I gave it all up because my life to me was more important than that $50 that they was paying. So I left with the clothes on my back with my 2 children. I ended up being homeless for 18 months with these babies. I worked 11 to 7 in the hospital. I would put them to bed in an empty hospital room, wash them up, bring them downstairs, take them to school, and then go to school. I was in school to be a medical assistant at that time. I was fighting, man. I was fighting to be an example for my kids, but I was fighting to be an example for myself. I had done it all, and I was still trying to figure out this God thing, right? Because I don't want God to be mad at me, but at the same time, I had to convince myself that I am the apple, yes, sir, of God's eye, and that he did not, God, sorry, y'all, but he did not create me for this. He did not create me to be a punching bag. So I didn't understand, and I didn't really know how God was going to do it. But what I knew was that this was not the plan for my life. So I had to forgive myself. And I had to get to a place where I acknowledged, like, yes, God, I asked you for this. And yes, you showed me all the signs. And yes, this was what I wanted. But I realize now that I made a mistake. I repent. And I don't know how you're going to do this thing for me, sir. But I need you to work this thing out because I can't do this like this. I got a daughter. I got a son. I don't want my daughter to grow up like this, and I don't want my son to grow up like this. So whatever you do, yes, sir, please do it quickly.
Yes.
My husband called my father and said, can he counsel us? My dad is a pastor. And when I went to counseling, my father said, tell me why you're here. And I said, well, I didn't ask to be here, so I'm not saying anything. So he told my father that he wanted him to see what kind of whore I was. So there was the humiliation part. So my father was like, excuse me? He was like, I just want you to know what kind of whore your daughter is. So my father was like, well, is she cheating? So he's looking at me and I don't really got no answer because I ain't doing nothing. So I'm just like, whatever, I don't know. So my father's like, well, did she cheat? He's like, no. You saw pictures? He's like, no. You saw videos? He's like, no. But when we walk down the street, everybody's like speaking to her. So she must be screwing him. I was like, wow, that's what you think about me? All right, cool beans. For me, it was over. But my father told me, and I'll never forget, you still have to be a wife. I said, what does that mean? I still got to cook and clean. And my father was like, you still have to be a wife. It really bothered me. It was really troublesome to me. But that's, that's that whole tradition thing, right? Divorce is not a God, whatever. I decided that I was just going to have to confess and repent because I was divorcing him. Because he's going to kill me. That's how I felt in my spirit. I felt in my spirit he was going to kill me. 2 weeks later, he hung me from a second floor window. From the waist up, I was hanging out of the window because he told me that Farrakhan was the new Jesus, and I laughed. I didn't mean to laugh, but it kind of caught me off guard. And normally I got a brace for stuff like that. And He didn't. And he said to me, if I throw you out this window, is your God going to save you? Can I be honest right here and say, I did not know what God was going to do. But internally, I was telling God, look, if you decide not to save me, let me have a heart attack on the way down. Don't let me fall out this window and die and be laying right here on the ground and my kids run around. Don't do that to me. Don't let me be in a vegetative state. If I'm going to go, let me go.
Let me go.
That's right.
Needless to say, I guess the God I served saved me because he didn't throw me out the window. Thank you, God.
Yeah.
My feet never hit the floor, so I'm grateful. But can I tell you something? That God is so crazy about you that he will kill for you, right?
Yeah.
September 4th, 2014, I got a phone call that he was found dead of a massive heart attack. And I can't really tell you what those feelings were at that time, but all I could hear God say was, you don't know what he's done for me. He gave me the victory. And he just kept saying that, and I kept saying, what? I went to the funeral home because I wanted to tell him that although he was going, he could not go with my self-esteem, with my self-worth, with my dignity, with my integrity. I simply came here to get it back. It would be the first time in 5 years that he could not punch, he could not kick, he could not scream, he could not bite, he could not spit, he could not smack. He could not say anything. You have to listen to what I'm saying. And some of y'all are watching me and you think I'm crazy. Let me tell you something. Sometimes you got to speak to those things and take your power back.
Talk about it.
Because he was not physically there, he was a representation of something. And that was a very painful place, that he was a representation of some pain and some things, some humiliation and some things that he took me. So I told him, I simply came here to get it back. You can't go wherever you going with it. And I came back and I kept it moving, man. And I didn't do the healing right away. So I ended up in another situation. But after that, I decided that I was going to get healed and free. I'm not surviving domestic violence. I'm a domestic violence champion. I fought that battle quite a few times, and I got a belt. I'm not going back to that. I'm not painting any flags a different color. It is what it is. And if you show me something that says to me, red flag, I'm running. And it may not be anything against you. It just may not be what I need and where I need to be. Right. And I'm going in a completely different direction. So I'm 7 years domestic violence free. I think it's 7 years. And I'm thankful, man. I'm so thankful.
Yes. Awesome. Woo! Awesome. Powerful.
Wonderful.
Powerful. And people just don't know. Oh God, like people just don't know. I'm looking at the time. People just don't know. And so the question that a lot of these questions are coming up. Why did you say? Why do people say? And again, with that power and control, and I'm just gonna bullet out some things, and then Chris, if you want to chime in, just go ahead and chime in. But most people do not know that they are in abusive relationships. Like there's a pattern and routine that people go through, and they don't realize that this is the formation of abuse. But a lot of people say because of fear, and we heard that a lot within our stories tonight from Wendy and from Pastor Allen. Normalized abuse. I think Christine just put that up there as well. People say because of shame, intimidation, low self-esteem, lack of resources, disability, immigration status, cultural context. And what we mean by cultural context is traditional customs or beliefs may influence someone's decision to stay in an abusive relationship, whether held by the survivor or by their family in the community. So a lot of times, even when you as the victim want to leave, you don't have the family support because of your culture context. Your family is keeping you there, or their family is keeping you there within that relationship. People also say because of children, and people also say because of love. So we want to hear from you guys. Why did you say? And we'll start back at the top with Wendy. Why did you say?
Initially, I believe I stayed because I didn't realize I was in a harmful place. I made excuses for some of his language and some of his behavior. And when he realized I was becoming sensitized to what I believe wasn't acceptable for who I was supposed to be, he began to threaten me. And he told me that he would kill my parents. Well, what they do when you are in an abusive experience, they're going to tap into the person or thing that's most important to you. So I had the baby, but before I had the baby, he would tell me things like he would sort of make me believe that he would harm my parents. And that was the most important thing to me. If it wasn't me, it was my parents. Mm-hmm. And then I had the children and I had the baby, but it was certainly, I want to say, ladies, when you're in love, you absolutely operate with a sense of naivety. And I didn't realize that I was just not understanding the context clues. They were there, but I didn't see them. And when he would make me upset and I'd want to verbally go back at him, because we had some verbal exchanges, no question. Verbal and mental abuse doesn't go one way. If you coming at me, I'm coming back. And I learned words I didn't always know growing up, but I knew how to give it back to protect myself and to be defensive.
Right.
And I didn't realize that when I would do that, then he realized I was trying to own my power. And as I was trying to own my power, he then would give me things like he was going to hurt my family. And so that would then potentially paralyze me, because if you're going to hurt my mom and dad, I'm going back down. Because mom and dad mean everything to me. And not knowing how he was going to hurt them, just the fact that he would say it meant to me that I'm in trouble. There's a problem with this. Who says that? If they love you, why would they hurt your people? So for me, that was the reason why I didn't choose to go. But when I finally decided to go, I left and I didn't return and I didn't look back and I didn't choose to think twice. But that's for another discussion.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. What about you, Pastor Allen?
The first time I stayed, well, I went back the first time because my children challenged my faith. My children said, well, if we go to church and God can forgive us, why can't we forgive him? And I taught them that. And so I had to live out that principle in front of them. So I thought, so I went back. And it was good for a few days. And then, you know how it goes. Eventually it's back to the same old thing. And so I was staying because of shame. You know, shame will put you in some stuff that you just don't got no business being in. Pride. I was very prideful because nobody gets married to get divorced. That is a terrible stigma that is attached to it. And so that is why I stayed. But when I decided to live for me, when I decided to make the best decisions for me, when I decided to be the best version of me that I could possibly be for my children and for whomever else, was when I never, ever, I ain't have no plan. I didn't know how, what, where, when, but I knew that that wasn't it. And I just had to make a decision.
Awesome. Chris, I don't know if did you want to add something? Did you want to share? Is it anything you wanted to say? Breaking up. Chris is having some technical difficulties. If you guys have any questions, please put your questions up here in the chat so I can post them across the platform so Wendy and Jay can be able to read your comments. Mr. Corbett. Hey, Mr. Corbett. He said, ladies, thank you for sharing your stories and being so transparent. It is definitely going to help someone. Absolutely.
Hey,
absolutely.
Mike.
Absolutely. Dewana says, ladies, you are a testimony. God bless you. Thank you. Blessings to you as well, Wana. Christine said, we don't hold our perpetrator accountable. That's what you... we don't hold our perpetrator accountable. And that's a good, and that's a good statement. Why do you think we don't do that? Why don't we do that? Any one of you can answer.
Possibly Go ahead,
No, no,
Pastor Jay.
no, it's okay. Go ahead.
I was thinking possibly because we're shameful. So we take the blame for certain behavior, or we will mask the behavior that is undesirable from the perpetrator. And for me, Pastor Jay said something, and I should have written it down because I'm such a note taking kind of girl, but I didn't write it down. But she said something that really resonated with me to the point where when you decide to do something, decide means side, like suicide, to remove, to cut off. So decide, she decided to operate with no other option. So she had to make a decision to leave. So when I made my decision to leave, that was after I had already had the shame of not wanting my family to know they were right. They said, don't marry the guy. I married him anyway. They said, he's not good for you. He doesn't treat you right. I said, yes, he does. He just talks different because he's from New York City. You know, they do it different than we do. I made excuses because I was so busy trying to, I believe, own my power. And of course, I thought I was all powerful and then some. So certainly I felt like I couldn't let anybody prove me wrong. So you kind of make excuses for them. And then that's where we say we allow them off the hook. And ladies, I pray that folks hear us today and hear what is being said in the community nowadays, that women or men who are in abusive relationships learn from what's being said and what's being taught. Because when I was growing up, they didn't talk about it. So there was no place for me to see it, to say, oh, that's what this is? Emotional and verbal abuse. I'd never heard of it. I'd never thought about it. It didn't even cross my mind that that's what I was experiencing. I just thought we just talk different.
Right. Absolutely. Pastor Jay, did you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I agree with Miss Wendy, but I also want to say we don't hold them accountable because we don't think we can. They've stripped us of our power. They've stripped us of our opinions. They've stripped us of our voices. So who we gonna hold them accountable to?
Yeah.
They know that what they're doing is wrong, you know. So I don't know that it's not. I mean, in our confrontation, look at what you did to my face. Look at what you did to me. Look at, you broke this. Look, that is a level of accountability. But to take it to somebody else's accountability will expose them. But you can't expose them without exposing us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't expose them without exposing our collective brokenness as a couple. So I agree wholeheartedly with Miss Wendy.
Absolutely. And one of the things, and I find it so interesting how hearing your backgrounds of your childhood, and then how you still um was caught up in domestic violence and those types of abuse. For someone like me, and I'm not going to go into my whole story, but just want to just bring to the limelight that another reason why it's so easy for us to not only stay but to be a part of domestic violence is because we've dealt with it as a child. We've seen these things passed down from generation to generation to generation, like our aunts, uncles, grandparents, and we've seen all of this abuse. And then we think it's right. We think that this is what it's supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to be, and then we go ahead and we live our life according to that. And we may say that, oh, I'm not going to allow this part to happen, or I'm not going to allow that to happen. But then we still fall victims to the same old thing. And so we have to be mindful of not only what we put into the atmosphere, but how we were raised and what we are taking away from how we grew up and what we're putting back out there. It goes into the same thing with parenting, right? You're constantly yelling and fussing and cussing at your children, and so they become used to it. And so when they go out there to get with the woman or with the male, and this person is cussing and fussing and yelling at them, and they take it because this is what they grew up with. This is all that they know, and they think that it's okay. So we have to be mindful of what we're putting out there as well. And we have to be mindful of what we are accepting. And we have to be mindful of what our children are also watching. Someone put this up here: God save me and he will save you. You have to do the work. Tell someone that you trust and run. You are worthy. You deserve better. Love doesn't hurt. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And people are just sharing saw my mother get beat. I saw her fight back. I thought it was a normal part of a relationship. Absolutely, because you think it's normal. We normalize it because there's no one in those times to tell us better. And even if someone did tell us better in those times, it really didn't hold any value because of what we seen, right? I don't know how many of you listen remember that statement. What happens in this house stays in this house. So therefore, you're holding on to that secret. You're keeping it. You're keeping it right there. You're allowing it to stay right there. Or either that statement where people say, "Don't do what I do. Do what I say." And a lot of times, what you say is not holding weight, but what you're doing, what I'm seeing, what I'm digesting, that's what's really holding weight, because I'm going to again project that onto someone else, or I'm going to receive it from someone else. So we have to truly be mindful in our journey. And when you know better, we must do better, right? And so for anyone out there who's going through any type of abuse, and even if you're the person who's dishing it out, all right, because there's some people who's watching and who they are abusers, right? And so you have to be aware of the trauma that you're causing. And you have to also be aware of the trauma that you entail for you to be able to cause the trauma onto someone else. And so I just want to repeat this number. I think it was put up here, but we have the domestic violence hotline number, which is 1-800-799-SAFE. So that's 1-800-799-SAFE. Someone says, silence gives power to the abuser. It absolutely does. It gives so much power to the abuser. But because you are on here today, and because you are listening, because you are hearing what's happening, because you have heard the stories, please share this live tonight. Share it with your family, share it with your friends, share it with your loved ones. Just share it, because it's something that we need to hear. And it's something that we need to make relevant and bring to the family, bring to the community, because it's something that's not talked about. And the only way we find out about it, just like Wendy said, like no one in her family talked about it, but it was something that she was going through. And only a few friends, from what I was hearing, Wendy, only a few friends were telling you, "Oh, you need to leave." But then someone said, "No, you don't need to leave like that, because he knows your every move." And so we need to make sure that we are confiding in people, but that we're also getting positive feedback, and we're accepting that positive feedback back, and try to make a plan. And a lot of people don't know, to be honest, when you leave, like leaving is the most toughest time. That's the most dangerous time. When you do decide to plan to leave, it's the most dangerous time. And so I definitely thank you all for being a part of thank you all for being a part of the Let's Talk
absolutely.
show. We definitely thank you for being a part of this platform.
I just want to say, ladies,
ask that you share. I think Christine is trying to say something.
Can you hear me? My mic is.
But her mic is not working too good. Christine, if you can hear me, just put it in the chat.
I'm sorry.
If you can hear me, Chris, just put it in the chat. I definitely thank you guys for being a part. And do you guys have any?
Hear me? Can you hear me?
No, you're breaking up though. I can say something, Chris. No, say something. Okay. Just staggering with your mic. I just want to, before we close out, if Pastor Jay and Wendy, if you guys have anything that you want to leave with our audience, someone may be going through the same things that you guys has just talked about. If you have anything that you would like to just leave with them, what would that be at this time?
For me, I would simply say this. No more painting the red flags your favorite color. There is, it's about knowing your worth. It's about knowing what you deserve and taking that chance for it, right? And so when you know your worth, you don't have markdowns, and you don't give sales. You don't go on sale. When you go into Gucci, when you go into Prada, it costs what it costs. There is no sale. There is no 2 for 1. There is no buy one, get one half off. It just costs what it costs. Your love costs what it costs. Your trust costs what it costs. Your
Yes.
peace costs what it costs. So this evening, if I could, I just want to take you off the clearance rack.
Mm,
I just
nice.
want to take you off the clearance rack. Nothing that you're experiencing is your fault. And I don't care if you said the wrong thing, if you did the wrong thing, if you did the thing that he told you not to do. You do not deserve to be mistreated. You do not deserve to be beaten. You do not
Yes.
deserve to be spoken to in an ill manner. Know that you are royalty. I don't care who you are, son or daughter. You are a daughter or a son of the king, a royal priesthood in a chosen generation. And anything beneath that is not becoming of you. And so that's what I would say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wendy, would you like to add anything on to that?
That was absolutely powerful, Pastor.
Yes.
Bless you.
I would like to remind people that life is 10% of what happens to you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and 90% of how you react to it.
Yeah.
And so, in the midst of life, life is going to happen, but we are to seek God and to look for Him to give us the answers to help us to overcome.
Yeah.
I, in fact, did get exactly what I asked for, Pastor. I asked for the husband. I told him we have to get married before I have the baby. And I'm having a baby in marriage, and I'm having my baby by age 28. So be careful what you ask for, because
Right.
you'll get
You
what
might get it.
He'll
That's
give
right.
you what you want. It's just, is that what God wanted from me? And so in the midst of overcoming, I decided to walk away. And when I walked away, the Lord said, it's up to you to take my hand, to do what you have to do for the sake of your 2 babies. And so as I walked away with the 2 babies, the 2 baby bags, 2 car seats, and no money,
Yeah.
the Lord has blessed me to now having a relationship with my husband, my new husband, for 24 years, where
Amen.
he has blessed me to overcome and to be able to make a difference in the lives of many. So I
Yes.
say to the ladies, be careful what you ask for.
Mm-hmm.
Seek God and let Him give you what He wants you to have. And you
Yes.
are worthy of all that, because you are royalty, Pastor. And as royal servants of the Lord, He expects us to do our part. So I say to each and every person, be mindful of what you ask for and know that you are worthy of that and then some.
Amen.
Thank you so much. And Chris wanted you guys to know. I know her mic is her sound is going in and out, but she wanted to let you guys know that please encourage anyone that is going through domestic violence. If they come to you, please hear them. Please listen to them. Be patient with them. Love them, and most importantly, show them compassion. And don't judge them. Don't turn them away. Just digest what it is that they're saying and work towards getting them the help that they need. And so we thank everybody for tuning in. We thank you guys for joining in on our platform. We thank you, Pastor Jay. We thank you, Wendy. Definitely look forward to working with you guys together, joining the team, joining the mission. It's powerful, and I'm just happy that you guys were able to be a part of our platform and be able to speak, to our audience and give them all of what you gave them tonight, because this is what they needed. And so I thank you all. You guys have a blessed night. You guys have a blessed weekend, and enjoy the rest of your evening with purpose. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Thank you, ladies.
You're
Bless you.
welcome.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bless you guys. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night. I like